Need a horn and a drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches. Talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
What is going on, FSU family? My bad. What is going on, everybody? Tuesday. We are on the Hangover episode 4.5 because yesterday we had an emergency broadcast. And this, I'll be honest with you guys, FSU is starting to be bad for my health. It is starting to be bad for my health. But today, I want to preview a little bit of North Carolina. Got some possible transfer news. Nothing solid or concrete there. I do want to continue the discussion on this defense, obviously, and what can this defense do to get better in this game? Because this is going to be another shootout. I think this weekend we're going and looking at another shootout. Noles are on prime time again. That's been a blessing and a curse. It's good to be on prime time television. But it's never okay to be getting embarrassed on primetime television like we kind of have been. So FSU football is starting to become bad for my health. I don't know how long I'm going to be on here today, but I did want to get a show out here and just continue the conversation from yesterday and then move on to some of this offense. On the quarterback situation still, Travis hasn't practiced this week. Take from that what you will. I don't think he is going to play. I mean, no practice. I don't know. The quarterback position is going to be up in the air, I guess. I would assume he's playing and they're just being precautious, but no practice. Not being on the practice field is always kind of a red flag. let me get into my introduction, and then I'll get to everybody in the comments, and then then we'll do it. But you on 863 Seminole TV. I'm your host, POLK, a.k.a. AloMoney, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. Let's get this thing started, man. You're on the Hangover. Let me get to the people in the chat. And you got Mr. Wolf, Giuseppe. Mr. Wolf's talking about he heard of a commitment. Jackson. If you're talking about Chambry Jackson, that was last week. Yeah, we covered him already. Concrete Hard No, No Blooded, Rose No Blooded, Scott Norman, Four State Love, Tyler. And that's all we got in here right now. They're telling me Travis did practice today. I could have sworn I listened to this interview today and he said he didn't. Maybe I misheard that. I didn't write it down. So maybe he did practice. I could have sworn I heard he didn't practice, but it is what it is. We're hoping that he did practice. So that's obviously going to be a good thing going forward, is that he practiced. Giuseppe says, I think the D should go man on man, which, again, to Adam Fuller's credit, because I had a lot of people in the comments. I commented on some other things on a war chant and stuff. I personally commented on some of their stuff. And I had people telling me, people were kind of getting on me. Get off of this defense coordinator. A lot of people want to defend him, and that's fine. Look, we all are entitled to our opinions. We are, are allowed to believe what we want to believe. Is my opinion is, well, I'll wait. I'll slow my roll down to a certain degree, and I'll wait and see. I still say this defense has regressed, but I'll wait and see if they turn a corner this year. We are 4 games into it, so we'll wait and see. But yeah, everybody's telling me that Jordan did practice, so positive news there. Then we have some transfer stuff. So I wrote this one down because I think it's interesting. I don't know how much is going to affect this year. This kind of reminds me of the De'Aaron King situation. A Louisiana Tech guard, Willie Allen, he's a grad transfer, is looking for a new home. He tweeted out to Corey Wren personally and said, just like high school. So he is considering Florida State. Florida State has reached out. How much does this impact this year? I don't know. I do think if he can come this year, obviously that's a help. You can move him to left tackle. You can move Devontae Love-Taylor to guard, where I think that's where they want Devontae Love-Taylor to play anyway, is that guard. You can get Bavion off the field, which is always going to be a plus. And, you got an offensive line that's consisting of Love-Taylor. You can still keep Robert Scott over there at the other tackle because I think he's held up very nicely. And Washington's still dealing with an injury, I believe. So you can keep Scott over there. I think Washington's more of a guard as well. Darius Washington could be your first rotation piece off of the bench. And you got a solid offensive line when you go Maurice Smith, Lucas, Love-Taylor, offensive tackle, Louisiana Tech offensive tackle, and then Robert Scott. So that's a name to look out for. Again, I don't know if he can contribute this year or not. At the worst, he'll be on the squad next year. Again, very similar to the Eric King situation. 4 games into the season, he's decided to forego his time over there at Louisiana Tech. This year being differently, I think he's eligible immediately. I think. Don't quote me on that. I think he is eligible immediately. So I don't know if he can come in right away or if that's a guy that we're not going to see until next year. Either way, that's definitely a name to keep track of. And it's a plus. Always adding depth to that offensive line is always a plus. So that's always a plus. But yeah, hit the like button. Dennis says, "Poke, you back on the grind. I see sadly it's going to end in the 4-6 FSU." Hold on, folks. I got a phone call. Give me one. Sorry about that, folks. All right, back at it. Dennis says it's gonna be a 4-6 season. Tyler thinks we're getting Mims. Tyler, I would love it. Listen. If we get Mims, that erases Brandon Jennings, I think, and maybe Brandon Jennings. See, Mims comes on board, and now he, I read somewhere today that now Michigan might be in the mix for Jennings. That recruitment's gonna get interesting, man. We'll see if Jennings comes back to us and gives us the opportunity to redeem ourselves. Honestly, I don't believe we're getting Mims. Granted, Mims has said Atkins is his favorite coach out of all the coaches that are recruiting him, so that's always a plus. Mims has to have seen the progress that the offensive line has taken under Atkins, so he knows he can come in and be that dude from day one, and also have competent guys around him. That's a plus, but we're not winning games, and that's a negative. And not only are we not winning games, it hasn't really been close or competitive in some of these games. You know what I'm saying? So, other than the Georgia Tech game, so we'll see. I hope we're getting in. Mims commits on Friday, I believe. So the Raekwon Buckley commits either Friday or Thursday. So that's another name to watch out for. Got a couple targets committing. I think Buckley's crystal ball to Nebraska. Mims is crystal ball to Georgia. So we'll see if we can really pull off either one of those guys. I would like for us to get Mims, but I'm not going to pretend like, Concrete telling Dennis to shut up. Hit that like button so Pope can grow this 4-6 channel. Appreciate that, Dennis, and at the same time, go to hell. NSC has announced all transfers. Okay, so yeah. So he can come in off the jump and contribute. Offensive tackle at Louisiana Tech, Willie Allen. So it's possible. Again, that's a name to watch for. We'll see how long that process takes. I mean, I guess the pessimistic side of me at that, looking at how long is it going to take to get him here? So he obviously won't have him for North Carolina. It's going to take him 2 or 3 weeks to get here. Then what? You're only going to have him for a remainder of 4 or 5 games? Like, how much of an impact does a Willie Allen really give you? Granted, he can come back next year with no, because this year doesn't count towards eligibility at all. But if he gets a decent enough draft grade, and this team continues to struggle, what's going to make a guy like Willie Allen, who, yeah, he's going to be a nice addition, but if you're only getting him for 4 or 5 games, what's going to make him want to stay for an entirety of another season? You know what I mean? So I hope we can land him, and I definitely think he can help this team and contribute. Mims is obviously a bigger deal, or Raekwon Buckley's a bigger deal, because those are guys you're going to have on this campus for 3, 4, 5 years. Granted, they redshirt or something. Those guys are going to be building blocks that you build on. Willie Allen is like a patch, right? He's a Band-Aid. But even that, I don't, how long are we going to keep him? Is he really going to be here next year? We don't know. Who's transferring? I saw left tackle or offensive tackle from Louisiana Tech is considering Florida State and has immediate eligibility. Was a high school teammate of Corey Wren. So, and he tweeted to Wren, just like I think the tweet was specifically just like high school, insinuating him blocking for Corey Wren like high school. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of weird now when I hear about a transfer offensive tackle, and I'm like, that's nice, but it's no big deal. It's a big deal because, again, always adding depth is always a plus. It's just, again, in this case, you're getting a grad transfer. So he's a senior who's going to be transferring mid-season, who's going to take a week or two to finally get here. How much games is Florida State going to have him? Is he going to be here for next year? I mean, again, if he comes and plays pretty good, gets a solid draft grade, he's out. So what did he really what did he really help is what I'm really getting at when it comes to that. Nothing on Altmaier. I don't think anything has really developed there. Again, as far as we know, Altmaier's still solid until he's not. That's all I can really put out there. We have a better chance of getting Buckley. I tend to agree with Rose on that. Between Buckley and Mims, I think we have a better chance. Raider goes, we're going to have to get transfers to fix the defense like we did with the O-line. I think the DC don't really want to coach some of these guys. They may be uncoachable. It's possible. If they're uncoachable, man, then bench them. I don't know. Bench them. Put guys, I mean, I get it. Hopefully the cancer doesn't run that deep where guys aren't uncoachable, but we'll see we'll give Fuller, I'm not giving him a benefit of doubt, but I'll give him a little bit more time. Any chance Willie Allen can play linebacker? For real. But in all seriousness, can we get a couple linebackers in like that? I'll take a patch at this point. I don't know any linebackers on the portal, so that is unfortunate. But, of course, after the end of this year, guys are going to transfer. All that stuff's going to really light up towards the end of the year, and we'll see what options FSU has. Polk, go look at the 2017 recruiting class. That class was the death of our program, full of 4 and 5 stars. Brooks, Warner were the only linebackers we signed in that class. Both were 4 stars. Okay. DeKalen Brooks? I thought DeKalen was a 3-star. Maybe he was a 4-star. Leonard Warner. I thought Leonard Warner came in with Dontavius. No, that's right, Dontavius Jackson. So what are we getting ourselves in this prime time matchup against North Carolina? I think, again, defensively, I don't think any of us have faith that the defense is really going to be able to make a stop, right? So we understand that. Defensively, this is going to be another tough game. If we look at their offensive numbers, if we look at North Carolina's offensive numbers, I don't know how well you guys can see that. I'll make it bigger. Sam Howell's gone for 777 yards on 68 completion percentage. He's averaging 9 yards a pass, 6 TDs, 3 interceptions. He's been sacked 7 times. We don't rush the passer very well, so I think that might be a mute stat. The 3 interceptions are a little interesting. Maybe we can force him into some mistakes ourselves. If we can't generate a pass rush, I don't know if we can generate the mistakes, but, we'll see what adjustments are made defensively. Here's your big worry. After seeing what they did to us Saturday, Notre Dame, you got Michael Carter, who's averaging 10 yards a run with a long of 62. He's got 413 on the season. And Javonte Williams, he's no slouch either, averaging over 6 a run on 283. He's got 6 touchdowns on the year. Sam Howell's known as mobile, but you can see he's been sacked 7 times, which is going to take away from his rushing stats. He doesn't seem to have been much of a factor so far this year on the ground. And then the receivers, they got some big play receivers in Daz Newsome and Damani. I guess you say Dimey Brown. Not sure how you pronounce that first name right there, but he's leading the team with 240 yards. He's averaging over 18 and 2 touchdowns. Daz Newsome's averaging 10 yards a catch. Daz has 1 touchdown, 10 receptions. So It's an explosive offense, as you can see, man. They get chunk plays. They've got long throws of 43 yards, 41 yards, long runs of 62 yards. They like to get the big plays. They have defensively, they got a guy with 3 sacks in Chad Surratt. Tamari Fox has 3 sacks. Taman Fox, I guess those two might be brothers right there. Tamari and Taman, looks like it. 2 sacks. Tyron Hooper has a sack. So these guys look like they can generate a solid enough pass rush. I don't think, obviously, the defense is their strength of their team. I mean, they gave up a ton of yards to Virginia Tech. We expect to be able to do some things defensively as well. It's really this offense and these chunk plays that we really got to be worried about. And let's look at Florida State's statistics. More so want to look at our offensive stats. Jordan Travis. Now, he's only completing about 59% of his passes. He's got 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's only been sacked 3 times. Look at that. James Blackman sacked 9 times. So from the offset, obviously we know better because we've been watching him. But Jordan Travis needs to get that completion percentage up a little bit more. But overall, I mean, the stat line doesn't look great, but we know as Florida State fans, because we've watched it so much, we know the difference he's made on this offense. On the running backs, I mean, look at that. We got a lot of guys getting a lot of touches in that running game. Jordan Travis leads the team with over 200 yards. Noles Toafili comes second. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry. Next is Webb, and next is Corbin, who's averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Looks like they've gone with more of a Toafili and Webb combination. And then there's Tamarion Terry with his big game. McDonald is second on the team, then followed by Ontario Wilson. Offensively, the stats don't look that impressive because they struggled mightily the first 2 games of the season. So we're expecting better production there. And then defensively, man, Gaynor leads the team in tackles. He's got half a sack, followed by Ronaldo Green, who has been a pleasant surprise at that safety position if you watch him. Emmett Rice has 10 solo tackles somehow. It feels like he's missed over 10 tackles, and somehow he has 10 tackles. Raymond Woody has a half a sack. Marvin Wilson has 1 sack. True Thompson has a sack, and we have 3 sacks on the season, guys. That is ridiculous. So defensively, man, we really got to pick it up. I mean, some of these guys who are like big time contributors and starters, like I'm looking at like, well, I didn't even know Darius Dent was still on the roster. Miko Dotson hasn't played much. Jerrion Jones has been the second start. He's played every game. He's got 3 tackles on the entire year. No pass defenses. Scratch that. 1 pass defense. Durden, 3 tackles on the year. It's defensively, we definitely got to pick it up. Definitely got to pick that up. All right. So let's come back. So, yeah, there's the little statistical preview of that game. Again, it's all about offensively. If we can continue to grow on the offense and continue to make strides on offense, push the pace, put points on the board, we'll be in this game. We struggle offensively. I don't expect the defense to pick up the slack. So it could get ugly. I think this one right here would be a shootout. I really do. I think we'll have a shootout on our hands come Saturday. I see LSU got a gang of players in the portal. We need to be on them. We played better in that second half of the Notre Dame game. and ended on a positive note. So I'll give you that. As much as I am here calling for Fuller's head on a pitchfork, they did man up there at that final drive. They could have easily allowed Notre Dame to walk in that end zone on that final drive, and it wouldn't have made bigger difference from a score standpoint. It just would have looked worse, but you could have easily said they were going to lose the game anyway, and they could have allowed Notre Dame just to walk in that end zone, and they didn't. They showed some heart. They actually showed like they gave a damn and they cared, and they forced Notre Dame turnover on downs. So that is a plus. That definitely is a plus to build on. That look, when we want to, we can put our foot in the ground and not be moved. Let's hope they can build off that. That's a good point, Tyler. They did end it on a positive note. It's just hope they can build on that and carry that into the next game. If they try to pick on Samuels like Notre Dame did, they might get bit. Greetings, POLK. North Carolina aren't as good as Notre Dame. I'm hopeful. Notre Dame has the top O-line and defense in the country. Definitely the top O-line. I feel like that defense might be overrated there, Marcus. Georgia's got the best defense I've seen so far this year, so I'm not quite sold on that Notre Dame defense. There were holes to be there in that Notre Dame defense. I know Jeremiah Gimmel, UNC linebacker. He played on a baseball team with me years ago. Okay, that's what's up. I just mean putting the big body guy on Samuels. Can't believe Emmett Rice has 22 tackles because it sure doesn't look like it. 10 solo tackles. 22 tackles because he's got 12 assisted. 10 solo tackles. Yeah. Sup, Samuel? Daz Newsome from my area, got to double him in that past game. He's good. Yeah, so Daz Newsome I know he was really their most hyped wide receiver coming into this year. NFL prospect. It's not going to matter if we can't generate. If you can see, Howell's been sacked. What was it? I think Howell's been sacked 7 times this year. Sacked quite a bit. People have gotten pressure on him. We got to find a way to generate a pass. I don't know why they don't just say to hell with it. Let's throw Amari Gainer out there and then let him rush the passer for 4 downs or 3 downs, whatever the case. What is it going to hurt? I've kind of been devil's advocate to that. It's been like, well, you're going to take Gainer out of the spot that he's been really successful in so far this season. You can put another guy there. You can put another guy there, in my opinion. You can throw someone else out there. Whether that's Kavion Glenn, whether that's moving Lars Woodbay down into the box. You know what I mean? It's not like Amari Gainer's been so incredible in that spot that he's just made that a huge impact. He's been good. I think his impact could be felt better on the edge. And I feel like we have other guys, hell, maybe a Gant. I mean, they play Gant a lot against Notre Dame. To me, with Gant, it's just a matter of getting that guy repetitions, getting him on the field and getting him looks. I mean, that was the first game, I think, in Brandon Gant's career where he was on the field in constant snaps. I think the more snaps Gant get, just the better he's going to get. So I just want to see some adjustments. I mean, look, I'm okay with what I'm not okay with is doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results, right? Isn't that the definition? Isn't that what they say is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and expecting different results. So right now, Adam Fuller to me is looking insane. Even though he tried a few different things against Notre Dame, you're still using the same personnel in the same spots. What's it gonna hurt to throw Gainer out there? Take J-Rob off the field and rotate him with Kando instead and throw Gainer out there. What's it going to hurt? What's it going to hurt to drop Gant in the box or Woodbay in the box and put another safety in Woodbay's spot? Like, what's it going to hurt to give it a shot? At this point, it's time to start experimenting and give things a shot to see if something can spark the defense. So we'll see if they make any of those type of adjustments. What's going on, Duval? We had 0 pass rush. Something has to change. We are by far last in sacks in the ACC. Second worst has 7. I will question the D-line's heart if they don't get any pass rush against Notre Dame. Against UNC. Again, Howell's been sacked 7 times. So that offensive line, while the offense seems to be good, maybe that O-line weakness for North Carolina. We got to try to exploit it in some way. Gant did play a lot. He didn't start any games under Willie, to my recollection. Gant did get some stops. Raymond Woody got some snaps. I would like to see Raymond Woody back there at safety. There's so many guys, man, that we can rotate. You can't tell me everybody we've recruited is trash. I don't believe it. That's why that's why everybody keeps telling me, man, it's the players and it's not the coaches. Look, we might not have the greatest players. I know we have some bad players. Everybody's not trash. No reason why everybody we put out there should be getting exploited and playing out of position. Everybody's not trash. I don't believe it. Can you miss on a prospect here and there? Sure. But every 4-star on this defense isn't trash. I don't believe they're being utilized properly and coached the right way. It's just me. I think Raymond Woody can help us. Rotate Raymond Woody, rotate Brendan Gant, drop Woodbay down there with Kavion Glenn. You can rotate those guys out. Put Gaynor and Griffiths on the edge on one side, Janaris and Kando on the other side. I mean, hell. And then we're still going to rotate our other 2 backers, Dix and Lundy. And unfortunately, we're kind of stuck playing. We're stuck playing Emmett Rice and Leonard Warner. It is what it is. I still don't understand why we don't see any of Kavion Glenn, but I can't answer for why we're not utilizing some guys. Maybe some of these guys aren't physically ready, and I understand that. It's unfortunate because we need them. D-line is either going to roll over or step up this next game, and at this point, it's kind of a point of no. Look, if we want to salvage recruiting, if we don't want this mass exodus in recruiting, we have to start putting something on the field that resembles a competent, whether it's offense or defense. I think offensively, again, we're coming around. We all expect offensively this thing to eventually start humming. The more practice Jordan Travis gets, the more snaps he's going to get, the more they're comfortable running this offense. And you can see it. Like, there's big plays in this offense. There's big snaps in this offense. Everybody, I think, sees the offense. I mean, it looks like Tamarion Terry is back engaged, which is awesome. I would like to see Cam McDonald get more. I think he can be a matchup problem on this offense. So we got things on offense that we know we can use and that we're growing. Defensively, man, we have to put something that just looks competent. I think that's one of the reasons Brendan Jennings decommitted. Obviously, I haven't talked to him, obviously, or anything like that. But I think if you could get him behind closed doors, off the record, I think he'd tell you, like, I want to be a Seminole, but how can I play for a unit that looks like that? Like, they don't even look like I've seen high school backers play better than the backers we got playing right now. They're looking like a Pop Warner team. Like, seriously. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Start the best players, no matter if they're underclassmen. What's going on, Todd? One Tribe says, who we really missing right now is Xavier. That kid, Xavier Peters, transferred from here to, I think it was Kentucky. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he doesn't even play at Kentucky anymore. I know he had talent. I agree. He was going to be the pass rusher of the future for that dude had talent, but he also seems to have bags because he hasn't been able to stay at amount of time. If we play offense against North Carolina the same way we play against Notre Dame, I think we can win. It's honestly all on the defense, at least to hold them. Defense, right? Can we get 1-2 stops defensively? Distance on defense. Howell's thrown some interceptions this year. Can you force him into some bad plays? Force him into some sacks? Howell's not perfect by any means. guys. He can, he can be taken advantage of. We've seen him have the turnover bug. We've seen him get sacked. Can they apply a proper amount of pressure to force Howell to be up? If Howell is just comfortable back there and doing what he wants to do, it's going to be a long day for the defense. Hopefully our offense can keep up. That's what we're hoping. Questions becomes, how good is North Carolina's defense? Oh, didn't try to do that. How good is North Carolina's defense? They force us to have some issues is going to be a question. They got some guys on there that generate. They've got a few sacks, so you got to hope our offensive line continues to progress and show progression. And obviously, if our running game continues to be as great as it has been with Webb and Toafili, reason they kind of got away from Toafili. They used him more in the passing game against Notre Dame. I want to see that young man get more carries. But again, I like the combination of him and Webb. Dennis Briggs not playing this year has hurt us. We could have used him. Again, another big body defensive end, though. I don't know, is Briggs, I don't think he's the pass rusher that we really need. Briggs is more of he's in the mold of like a Janoris Robinson. I think Briggs is 6'4", 6'5", 250, something like that. Definitely could have helped the depth, though. Your mic is cutting in and out. Sorry about that. Is it really? Hold on. Mic check. I don't see Fuller playing in the rotation. Quayshawn Fuller, I saw McClendon for a fair amount of snaps. I saw McClendon. They did try to play McClendon against Notre Dame. I did see him for a pretty decent amount of snaps. It was mainly in the fourth quarter, I believe. They used him more. I don't recall if I saw Fuller either. I did see McClendon. We don't have any dogs on the D like a Joyner or Telvin or Derwin. That's because these cats got it on the field and off. That got in your face if you weren't doing your job. We don't. The defense is definitely lacking some leadership. I agree there. I wish the defense would sell out for turnovers. 1.5 takeaways on and a special teams touchdowns wins a lot of games coming up. That's a good point. If you're going to be in some of these shootouts that we might be in coming up, turnovers are going to be a big deal because turnovers are, the more offensive possession you have, the better. Turnovers. And then if you can generate anything on that special teams, hopefully Travis J plays today, Saturday, because he is a primary kick returner. I mean, they tried to use Webb against Notre Dame, and we used Keyshawn Helton against Jacksonville State, and I thought he had some success, albeit against inferior athletes. They tried to use Wren back there this past Saturday, and shout out to Corey Wren for at least trying. He didn't look fast to me. He definitely looked small. And, I mean, I've been saying it all year. I think Wren's body's just not ready to be on the field in a full-time role. Hopefully we get Travis J back there. Samuel says my mic is better. Okay, cool. So then now we have to ask ourselves, okay, defense, we kind of know what we're getting, right? Who's the next player on this offense that's going to step up? We've seen guys step up this year on offense. That first game against Georgia Tech, it didn't feel like we could run the ball at all. All of a sudden, over the next couple games, the run started getting more consistent. I feel like the run game is now a strength of this team. Now, Jordan Travis does have a lot to do with that. But Toafili, true freshman, stepped up. Damian Webb has stepped up. Of course, Jordan Travis has stepped up. Tamarion Terry finally stepped up. Who's the next guy? I'm not even going to count the offensive linemen because I think just as a unit, they have all stepped up. But now we need that next skill position player. I need somebody on the opposite side of Tamarion Terry. Pookie Wilson is stepping up, don't get me wrong, but it's just I feel like he's more in the short passing game. who's the next deep threat? Who's the guy I think that can take pressure off Terry? Because right now defenses realize, well, if they're going deep to number 5 and no one else. So almost they completely disregard the other side of the field and realize, well, whoever Terry's at, let's just throw a safety over him. Somebody's got to be we got to have another guy. I don't know if Warren Thompson is that. I don't know if Kentron Portier can be that. Somebody else has to develop on that second side of the offense, I think, to really start breaking this offense out. But I like where the offense is, and I think there's guys over there that can step up. It's unfortunate. I believe Brian Robinson has been struggling with injuries his whole first year here. Hopefully he can get on the field. I would love to see him contribute. They're using Ja'Kai Douglas, but they use him in a similar way that they use Pookie Wilson, short passing game, bubble screens, stuff like that. Let's hope Warren Thompson can finally get it. I mean, maybe Warren Thompson can finally get it. Because, he's a great practice player from what everyone tells. He looks like he looks like Kelvin Benjamin 2.0. I mean, he's not as big as KB, but no guy his size should be able to move the way he does in practice. We haven't seen it translate on the football field, though. Maybe Warren Thompson can finally get it together. I do think we need an extra weapon out there. And, again, utilize Cam McDonald. I can't forget about Cam. They gotta find ways to get him the ball more in space, I believe. They got to start utilizing him better. I heard Ham is cleared to play, but his camp is advising against it. If I was his camp, I'd advise against it too, quite honestly. I mean, if we're just being honest. I don't expect to see Nasruddin this year, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't expect to see him. Defense is played by selfish people that don't play as a team. I want to see Webb break out on a huge run. He has the speed. McDonald has to be the step up. Mobile QB with a questionable arm. The tight end has to be his best friend. I agree. And I'm surprised the tight end that's why I'm surprised the tight end hasn't been utilized more. Tight end should be his best friend. I agree. Tight end should always be his check down. If that long shot isn't there or whatever, I feel like the tight end should always somehow or another be in the play for Jordan Travis. And for whatever reason, they don't really utilize him like that. That's why I think we need to move on man-to-man and try to force a bad throw or strip sack. If we're going to allow 7 every time, anyways, might as well try and sell out for a turnover. Who is the first guy to step up on defense? I think Marv is in a funk and has a big game coming up. He's due. We would hope. But when I talk good about Marv, everybody just says I'm a big Marvin Wilson stan or whatever. Everybody thinks I just do nothing but defend Marv. Somebody's got to eventually step up on that defense. I'm going towards Gaynor. I think if you use Gaynor in the right way and get that kid ears pinned back to the football, he can. I mean, Gaynor shows that he strips the ball. He impacts plays. Use him the right way, and I think Gaynor could open the entirety of this defense. But they're not using him how he needs to be used. They'd rather drop him back in coverage. And, that's what they'd rather do. Jordan Young, I forgot all about Jordan Young. That's a guy who can develop into the next option. We need somebody, too. Jordan Young is definitely a candidate. We need to recruit Coleman and Thornton. Cam can play wide out. The tight ends are used to blocking and not in the passing game. Usually when they're blocking, they like to use this red shirt freshman. I forget his name right now. You guys know who I'm talking about. I think he's number 45. They use him more as a blocker. If Hamza plays, the defense will look completely different. I agree. Hamza's a game changer defensively. He masks a lot of the mistakes those linebackers have had. And he's done that really his entire career here at Florida State. I just don't expect to see him this year. He would step up and stop those big runs. I don't care who the roommates are. Move them in together. McDonald and George. Right. Yeah, they need to start eating lunch together and all of that. Absolutely. Warren runs good routes, just can't catch. Yeah, Wyatt Rector. No, it's not Rector. They haven't even used Rector this year. Number 45. He's a true freshman walk-on. I forget his name. They're gonna make me look his name up. It's not Rector, and I know it's not Kerr. I think it's Preston Daniels. I think it's who I'm talking about. They like to use him in the blocking situations. That's their kind of blocking tight end. Rector, I haven't seen none of that kid this year. None of them. Any word on Travis J? He's listed on the depth chart, but nothing that I've heard to whether he was listed on the depth chart last week. So we'll see. We'll see if he plays. We'll definitely see if he plays. Yeah, Preston Daniels. Yeah, it came to me eventually. That's it. But yeah, that's their. He's jumped over Wyatt Rector, which makes me wonder. And I was saying this before, like especially before we knew Jordan Travis was going to be as effective as he was, even though I was calling for it all spring. But whatever. Why, if the quarterback position was in such disarray, did you move Wyatt Rector to tight end? And he's not even seeing the field. Rector's not even seeing the field. It makes me wonder, like, some of the personnel decisions on like they're doing. Like, I guess it's cool to have another body there, but they aren't even using them in that H-back. Not the H-back. Yeah, the H-back type role that some people thought they might use him as. Like, they're using Preston Daniels in that role, where they're stacking him up in the backfield as an extra blocker. They're not even using Rector like that. I mean, can Rector really not block, or can he not catch? He's supposed to be a big, somewhat fast, physical guy. You know, you can't use him as a weapon. Sometimes I wonder how complicated they're trying to make things that some of these guys can't see the field at all. On defense, the ends have to set the edge before the rest of the defense can open up. They gave Rector a scholarship too. Yeah, they gave him a scholarship and they're not using him. I mean, congratulations, obviously, on the scholarship. Not going to knock that decision at all, but use him. He sees the field on special teams. Fair. We saw, speaking of special teams, we did saw Sheffield on special teams. I think he's the one that recovered that punt, that muffed punt against Notre Dame. So, yeah, I think that was Dante Sheffield. So, again, special teams has been the one really bright spot from game one on this team. So, kudos to them. Apparently, they spend so maybe that means going forward, we can spend a lot of time and practice on like tackling and stuff. Now that special team seems to be the strength of this team. I think we've got a pretty good punter now. Astronomano, man. We do have to punt. I feel like he does a pretty good job of flipping field position, man. So he's good. Fitzgerald had a solid game. I think Growthhouse is also. I think we got two solid kickers there. Yeah, I like what we do. I think on kick coverage, we're usually pretty solid on kick coverage. They made a bonehead decision, something that hasn't been talked about, and I want to talk about it right here. They made a bonehead decision in that Notre Dame game before the half, kicking the ball short and giving those guys a short field. Not to mention the foolish personal foul on Woodbay on the sideline there. Shout out to Norvell for benching Woodbay after that. But it all was started though by a really bad decision, I think, to kick a short kickoff. They should have just kicked out the back of the end zone and forced those guys to go 75 yards or whatever it is now. It's not on the 20 no more, is it? Don't they do it like the 25 or so? Whatever they do now. They should have forced those guys to go, 70 plus yards instead of they kicked it short. We gave up points at the end of the half, and we really didn't need to. And your defense wasn't playing well, so I don't know why. I don't know the logic of giving your defense a short field to defend there. So that's something that hasn't been talked about. And, yeah, I feel like that was a real bad decision to kick that ball that short. We had scored. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't remember if we kicked. I'm choking. Throat got dry. Hold on. Oh, about to die on YouTube. I don't remember. I think we scored a touchdown or whatever. Anyway, we got points. You guys know what I'm talking. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was after they scored some points. Damn. And they kicked it short on the kickoff. I thought that was a bad decision. And my throat is really concrete. Concrete Noles says, how about throwing the ball twice without running some clock before kicking the ball to Notre Dame? Kick the field goal. Judge Uno, what's up? Talking about Matthews. If we're going to recruit any more tall receivers, we need to be a physical presence in the middle of the field, no matter how smooth of a runner they are. So, yeah, I really thought that was a bad decision. We gave up unnecessary points at the end of the half, and we didn't need to. We really could have went in the half with it being even a closer game. So, little things like that, you know, we're going to, especially when you don't have a defense that you can really depend on. I think what they were trying to do, what you try to do in those situations is they're trying to get the ball into somebody's hands. Is it normally known for fielding a kick, hoping that he muffs it? Again, I get it, trying to maybe generate a turnover and then, you know, get the offense back on the field because you have no confidence in the defense. However, that's a double-edged sword that you deal with because if you don't get a turnover there and you know you don't have confidence in the defense, well, now you just gave the defense a shorter field to defend. So they got to pick that up. They got to pick that up. Man, what's up with Miko? Is he on the leading nation? He's been hurt. Miko's been dealing with injuries so far this year. Last week was one of the first times he really played, and he looked like the second best corner on the team when he was on there, in my opinion. And then come this week, he's not even listed on the depth chart. So I don't know what's going on with Miko. I don't know what kind of injury he's dealing with. Yeah, Miko, it's unfortunate because I felt like he'd be the second corner next to Asante, and we've been forced to play Jerry and Jones. And McKean Dent has played sparingly. I'm almost leaning towards letting the Dent play over Jones, but whatever, they see something in Jerry and Jones, I guess. Something that I obviously don't see. Special teams says, ball down, call it now, they'll win us a game this year. Well, hopefully they win us the game this Saturday. Because if you don't know, Florida State is only picked to win one. Not in my wildest dreams will I ever have pictured an FSU team to win 2 games. I don't, but there's no way. I don't believe we are only winning. Guys, gotta win. We have to. If we go down, 3? We go down to 1-4. Then 2 games is it even? Louisville is definitely. Can you hear me? I gotta get me a new mic. This mic goes in and out of it. Mic check. Mic check. What I was saying is, can you hear me now? Are we good? Everybody's telling me my mic's out. Are we good? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Good. No. Nobody's saying nothing. I think the mic should be good. Let me check. Let me do a sound check. Hold on. Okay, no blood says we're good. Okay. So mic's back on. All right. What I was saying. Okay, no blood says we're good. Okay, there we go. What I was saying was we're not really scheduled or predicted to win another game this year, except I think maybe 1. And I never in my wildest dreams did I think FSU would only be a 2-game winning team. Like, I never, ever could have envisioned that. And if we don't win this game, First of all, let's talk about if we do win this game. If we win this game, I definitely think we're beating Louisville. That puts us back at 3-3. It's UNC, Louisville, and is it Boston College? Let's check the schedule. Let's look at the schedule. I want to look at the schedule. And what are the realistic wins, man, for this team going forward? Should have won the first game, but we didn't. So there's nothing we can do about it, right? Right now we're 1-3. Haven't even beat a real Division I level team yet. It's North Carolina, Louisville, Pitt, NC State. Now that's a tough stretch. I'm not gonna lie. If you can upset North Carolina, I think Louisville's the easiest game, right? Louisville hasn't been any. I mean, they just lost to Georgia Tech and they gave up 46 to Georgia Tech. So Louisville is not the team that people thought they were going to be. Pitt, we'll see how Pitt looks this weekend against Miami. NC State has been pretty decent so far this year. Even at 1-3 right now, can we get a 4-game winning streak, man? I'm cool with 4-3. 4-3 going into Clemson would be obviously the most ideal situation. More realistic situation would probably be 1, 2. Man, I honestly think we can win 3 of the next 4, man. I honestly think that. And maybe I'm just being delusional. We'll drop a game somewhere in there. Or maybe we lose to North Carolina. I think we can beat North Carolina, but maybe we lose to them. But I think you can go, preferably you want to be 4-3 going into Clemson. But if we can just be 500 going into Clemson, that is a huge plus. And you still got Virginia, which I think is a win, and Duke, which I think is a win. So we can, man, we got to win the game. We got to win. We really got to win. If we want a 6-game season, we literally have to win 3 of the next 4 of these games. So the schedule's not looking good, man. The schedule's really not looking good. T2Y want us to beat. What's up, T2Y? You want us to beat North Carolina. Y'all might want to worry about Pitt. But we're going to try. Definitely going to try. Paris 4 going to be a nightmare. 4-0, next 4 games, we got this. There you go. That's the confidence we need. I'm trying. Again, I'm trying. This Florida State team has been bad for me. But I'm trying. I'll tell you this. If they somehow do that, Florida State love, then something had it. The only way I foresee that, just real talk, is defensively something's going to have had to click to win the next 4 games. Going into Clemson 4-3 is going to be a huge deal if that's at all possible. And if that happens, that means something has changed defensively to where we have been able to make some stops. So let's hope, man. Let's really hope we got this. And then Concrete Noles says he believes, man. I want to believe so bad. But you know how you want to believe in something, but all the evidence is pointing to the other direction. That's how I feel right now. What's up, BB? I want to believe. I want to believe this defense is going to turn a corner, but no evidence is there to back that up. No evidence is in there to back that up. At least with the offense, right? We all believe that at least offensively, everybody had the belief that, you know what? If we get a better quarterback, this offense can be better. And lo and behold, that's what happened. You got a better quarterback play. The offense has improved dramatically. I don't know pass rush. I mean, I think we all see the glaring weaknesses. The problem is there may be too glaring. pass rush and linebackers. Now, again, I think to me it all starts with the pass rush. If you get a consistent pass rush, you make the linebackers' jobs easier. You make the secondary's jobs easier. Can we find our Jordan Travis on defense? Somebody that's maybe being overlooked or counted out. If they finally give him a shot and he can do some things, I don't know. I don't know who that player is. I don't know who that player is, man. We got to find it, though. I don't know if we have a Jordan Travis on defense. They're trying guys. They're trying McClendon. They're trying Josh Griffiths. I don't think Quayshawn Fuller's the pass rusher that they're looking for. I mean, who is it? Who is the guy? It's going to require a lot more of this defense going. A lot of people need to, a lot of people got to step up. Daniel saying it needs to be Marv. I hear you. I think it needs to be somebody on the edge. I still believe Marvin Wilson can only do so much, even if Marvin Wilson was playing at his top level. At defensive tackle, how much is that really? He's not going to get 10 sacks a year, 5 or 6 at the most at the defensive tackle position. I think that explosiveness got to come from the edge somewhere. Tyler's saying it needs to be a backer. I think it needs to be a defensive end. When the dark were the dark day back when Bobby was getting moved out as bad as these last 4 years. I think they're not putting these guys in position to win. I've been saying that. I think there's a little bit. Again, I agree with most people's sentiments. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of we got some bad players, and we're just not putting guys in a position to win. He's inside? I think. Go check. Is it just me, or was Emmett Rice really Emmett Rice? That's what gave me so much enthusiasm about this linebacking core going into the year. I thought Emmett Rice was really playing good football down the stretch last year. I really did. And I thought, again, and that's why it's so frustrating. And I'm calling for Fuller's head, and people are telling me I need to slow down. Got it. I'll slow down a little bit, just a little bit. But Emmett Rice was trending upwards. He's regressed. Marvin Wilson came off, one of his better performances last year. Go watch the bowl game. And we lost that bowl game for one reason only, and we will not say his name. But the fact is, defensively, we were dominating that game defensively against Arizona State in that bowl game. They couldn't do anything with the defensive line. That defense looked so different when Harlan Barnett finally got a hold of it and was able to do what he wanted to do. It's regressed. Is that because the scheme has changed again? Maybe, but it's regressed, man. The defense has regressed. We need Hamza, who I don't think we're going to get. Travis J and Gant. I think Travis J can definitely erase some of the problems. But don't sleep on Ronaldo Green. Ronaldo Green has been playing his butt off. I believe in the offense, but sorry, I've got absolutely no reason to believe in the defense. I'm no-blooded, but no belief in our defense. You're right, bro. DNs need to be the ones to step up. Linebacking core raising some eyebrows about Coach Marv. Yeah, that was a guy that everybody was high on, man. Everybody said that was a great hire, and I was on board with it. That was a great hire. Coach Marv, he's going to coach these linebackers up. Again, it looked like they regress. We go 1-4, and defense looks bad. Then what, FSU? If we go 1-4 in that stretch, well, again, I mean, what can really be said? If you go 1-4 against Louisville, Pitt, NC State, and North Carolina, there's nothing to be said. What's next year? That's what's next. And hope that you can keep a few of those 4 stars. Because you're going to have more decommits. You just got to hope you can keep them. But I do fully expect this offense to move the ball against North Carolina. I think we're going to be watching a shootout, man. I think Howell's going to throw a few of them. I think Howell might throw about 2 interceptions. But we gotta contain the running game. We cannot let them run for 300 plus yards again like Notre Dame did. Book didn't have to look necessarily great against Florida State Saturday because they could just run the ball whenever. Ian Book just had to make plays every now and then. Polk, do you really think we are to be like Miami? Mike messing up again. Damn, stupid Mike. Let me make sure. There we go. I don't know. 1 year is too. Dre, you good? 1 year is too. It's too soon to say we're gonna go through a slump, a 10-year, 12-year slump like Miami did, right? It's too quick to say that. I do think they're in a 3 to 4 year rebuild job though. If you get it right, 3 or 4 years of rebuilding, and then you can be back to where you want to be, competing for ACC titles and so on and so on. You know, once you start competing in the ACC title race, then we can put our eyes set further. You know, playoff, national championship, whatever the case. But we got to start in a conference. So no, I'm not gonna sit here and go, we are Miami all of a sudden. But you can't let 3 and 4 years turn into 6 and 8 years. Because then, 8 years down the road and you're still talking about a rebuild, then guess what, guys? Hate to say it, you're going through that 10-year, 12-year slump. It just is what it is. It's got to be 3 and 4 years, which I believe we're in a 3 and 4 year rebuild. I really do. Now, that all can change with the level of recruiting. If you can get a Mims, if you can convince a Jennings to come back, a Payson to come in here, if you can recruit despite your play on the field and somehow convince these kids like, hey, I know we're not looking good right now, but you're going to be the difference. Then you can shorten that time span. But if not, you have to recruit what you can recruit, develop, coach, and then put a product on the field that at least resembles a competent football team. You know what I mean? If they run the base 4-3, we should be able. They don't want to run that because that ain't Fuller's deal. All misery aside, how good is it to watch power football again? Those counters. It's not good to watch it when it's your team getting gashed for 353 yards, Daniel. No, we're not like Miami. What's good? What's up, Pharrell? Noles always play very tough schedules, and it's going to continue to play tough schedules. And we're going to continue to play them. That schedule stuff isn't easing up anytime soon. We got an LSU home and home coming up. It's not easing up anytime soon. They have no choice but to give him 3 to 4 years, no-blooded. He fired the last guy in a year and a half. He didn't even give him a full 2. It's kind of looking like a mistake. We don't know. The only reason I'm going to say it's looking like a mistake is we'll see what they can do on the recruiting trail. It's hard to judge anybody after a year and a half. And maybe he was going to go into his 3rd year and give Jordan Travis the reins. I don't know what Willie's plan was for that third year. The way he coached it, the way he coached that second year, almost to me felt like he was throwing that year 2 in the toilet. And he was getting ready for Jim Leavitt to run his defense that he wanted. And he was going to get ready to allow Kendall Briles to maybe get a guy of like a Jeff Sims and run. Looking back on it, maybe he was throwing year 2 away and looking towards the future. Not saying that was the smartest way to go about it because it got him fired. They have no choice but to give Norvell 3 to 4 years. No choice. You can't fire him again. We can't. If there's one thing, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was on the show with T2I and Bobby Durkins. If you don't know who Bobby Durkins is, he's the Clemson guy. I was on the show with them, and Bobby Durkins said it, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. You cannot continuously fire your coach and expect to build a program. You at least got to give them 3 to 4 years. At least you have to. What good is it going to do if we fire Norvell in 2 years? We're never going to be right back to what we're doing with guys that Norvell recruited who now are going to transfer out. You know what I mean? You got to give them 3 to 4. You got to give them a chance to develop. The truth is, majority of college football players take 2 to 3 years to develop anyway. So you just got to give them a chance. You got to give them that shot. And I'll say this: I don't think the program's being run in a disorganized fashion that was rumored to be happening before. That doesn't mean Norvell can't make changes, though. Norvell has to be the centerpiece, but Norvell can make changes. Adam Fuller can be gone after this year. Norvell must be the constant because he's the head coach, and ultimately he has the say of who you sign and who you don't sign and who he wants, who he doesn't want. That don't mean he can't make changes on the offense and defensive side of the football as far as personnel goes. Norvell gets 3 to 4 years. Adam Fuller don't get no damn 3 to 4 years. Hell no. I think it's a fix so Norvell to fail so Primetime could be head coach. Now, that's interesting. I've seen people say that. We're going to have to see how Deion does as a college head coach. But at this point, if Norvell fails, Primetime has some success over there at Jackson State, I'm with it. Bring him in. At least I know with Deion, you're going to recruit. You're going to recruit with Deion. At least I know that. So we'll see. Primetime is not going anywhere. He's not going to FSU. That's what I was saying about Fuller. These kids ain't going to look better having to learn schemes this year. That's fair. I get it. That's fair. It's one thing to look better. It's another thing to look worse. At the end of the day, football is football. And you can run whatever scheme you want to run. But guys not playing where they should be, is that a scheme thing or is that a player thing? You know what I'm saying? We're not really using any. Last year we were using Gainer as a pass rusher because we played the 3-4. Gainer was an outside linebacker who was used for rushing the passer in the 3-4. Why aren't we using him like that again? Only difference is you put him on. They're standing Janoris Robinson up every play anyway. So I don't. That's where I look at his scheme and I say, well, what exactly are we trying to do? Because they're calling it a 4 whatever the hell, except it's really only 3 down linemen, and they constantly stand Janoris Robinson up they stand him up on the edge anyway. Even if he's rushing that play, he's still standing up. So you can use Gainer in that same manner. So just get your personnel right. The scheme is going to be whatever the scheme is. Got it. But these kids haven't been playing football for 2-3 years. These kids have been playing football for 10 years plus. Pop Warner, high school, now college. They know how to run, tackle. It is what it is. Norvell's not going to be the head coach in the future. he's your Al Golden. This program is too far gone for one guy to fix it. Fuller could be gone, and Dan Quinn could be running defense. Coming to the season, I really thought Fuller. A lot of people had some high hopes for Fuller, so we'll see. So, yeah. So that's really where you're at right now. Defense is what the defense is. So I can't say it's just that's why it leads me to believe that the coaching is really the issue. You can talk about the players all you want, but again, I saw players last year play better than this. The same guys. Emmett Rice played better last year than he's playing this year. Is he really being used in any different type of way? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it to me. Gaynor is being used differently and than he was used. So it makes sense for Gaynor to maybe have some problems. Marv is being used differently because they were putting Marvin Wilson as a defensive end in a 3-4 last year. Now he's back inside. He looks different. Durden looks different. They're being used differently. So that's really my thing. Like I think just the way we're using guys, but that could go from. That can all change if they can just find something on the outside. At this point, guys, I don't have any answers. I don't have any answers. Again, watching this stuff is just bad for my health. I don't have any answers on the defense. There's nothing I can watch when I watch the defense. There's nothing I'm watching and I'm going, well, damn, they can improve that other than change people out. Find some guys that can play. That's really where I'm at with it. Find some guys that can play. So they got to find some guys that can play. Again, Norvell's got 3 to 4, period. He's got 3 to 4. You got to do what you got to do there. And you got to see who you can defend. He's got to make personnel changes if it comes to that. Right? I'm with it. I'm a reel back on the Fuller hate or whatever the case. We'll give him some time. We're not going to see it this year. I'm saying that now, but then when I watch this North Carolina game and I watch North Carolina run for 258 yards, or damn near 300 yards on us, I'm gonna be right back to saying what I'm saying today. I know I am, but I'm as of right now. Okay, we're gonna give Fuller some time, and we're gonna see what changes he can make. That's all gonna go to recruiting. That's all going to come to recruiting. On the roster right now, we probably don't have an answer. I'll be honest with you. On the roster right now, we don't have an answer. I don't think. But then again, some of these guys are young. I mean, McClendon, that's a redshirt freshman. Quayshawn Fuller is another freshman. Josh Griffiths is a true freshman. We have some freshmen that, in the ideal situations, none of these guys were 5 stars coming out of high school. In the ideal situations, these guys probably needed a year or 2 years to learn, get their bodies right? They're being forced to play. On the roster, do I think we have an explosive pass rusher type? I'm not too sure we do. Griffith seems to have the best type of upside, the guys that we got on the roster right now. We got to recruit. You got to get Chambry Jackson over here on campus. You got Byron Turner out of Louisiana, defensive end. Got to get him on. You got to get some of these guys on campus. Joshua Farmer, who says he's still solid at Florida State, but he is in contact with other schools. You have to keep some of these guys on the roster. You got to keep recruiting some of these guys, and that's the only way you're really going to fix some of the deficiencies we see. I think with the linebackers, I think we got guys, personally. I think we got young, talented guys. I really do. Defensive ends, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure we have any. See, Tyler says Griffiths, and Daniel says, I don't see any 5 stars on the commit board. Chambry, the guy. That's the kind of their big guy. Chambry's kind of their big take as far as the defensive ends. And some of the 3 stars I think look pretty good. Again, they're 3 stars. Take what you will from that. Thought we had Brandon Jennings. Brandon Jennings to me was a guy who I thought he could develop as into an outside pass rusher as well. I mean, again, at kid's 6'4", 225 right now. He could have been at a playing weight of, maybe he even grows another inch or two. And you're talking about a kid that's 6'5", 250, and he could be a defensive end or something, But we ain't got him. So they just got to recruit. And the only way you're going to recruit it's weird. It's a weird dynamic, right? In order to win, you have to recruit. But in order to recruit, you have to win. You got to be competent. You have to make the defense look better, Adam Fuller. Adam Fuller has a history or had a history of improving like his whole stick. The whole reason people were high on Adam Fuller because everywhere he gone, he had improved defenses from in their first year. Like the numbers improved. Well, that's definitely not going to happen this year. But we'll give it the rest of these games and we'll see what he can do. Josh Griffiths ain't that guy, but I'm excited to see him pop one day. Right. I don't know if Josh Griffiths is the pass rusher we need, but that doesn't mean he can't be a good player. Jennings, I thought, was rock solid. And there's some more guys, man, they're talking about opening up their recruitments again. Yeah, of course, 3 stars can surprise. I'm not saying they can't. Some of the best players in the NFL right now are 3 stars. And speaking of defensive ends, Khalil Mack, that's a guy that 3-star who we can talk about. Yes, I know that, but how much pressure did Khalil Mack have at Buffalo to be great? He was a nobody, and he was allowed to go up there, develop his body and his game, and then burst onto the scene. Whoever at Florida State gets, there's a different level of pressure at a university like this. That some these guys are going to be, people are going to want these guys to come in and contribute right away, which it worries me. That does worry me. But 3 stars definitely can develop and turn into something. That's a part of coaching, though. That's also a part of coaching and a weight training program and stuff. So it's going to take a couple years, man. The body doesn't transform overnight, and the body doesn't transform in one off season. You're not really going to feel the effects or see the effects of that weight room, Josh Storms. And it's going to be a couple years before you see some of these kids maybe turn into the players that they're going to be. Again, 2 to 3 years. We'll see. Once we get to that 3-year mark, you should start seeing this is Norvell's first year, and it's a throwaway year. And this, honestly, this might be one of the more ideal first years. Not in terms of like he didn't get the off season that he could have got, but he kind of gets to jump in here in a year that really doesn't count, a year that he doesn't lose any eligibility on any of his players, and kind of see what some of these kids are made of. He's really got a chance this year to see what he has. And maybe, not even maybe, like we've already seen him get rid of some of the bad weight in this program. If you continue to do that, continue to add pieces, if we call this year 0, year one, offensively, you're already seeing a turnover offensively. I guess next year, what you're going to want to see is the defense now start to turn a corner. Year 2, as an entire team, you should be more consistent. Year 3 should really be, by year 3, you should really see the vision and what Norvell really is going to have, right, for this program. But what you also do want to see is consistent improvement years 1 and 2. You got to give them time. And along the way, Norvell has to also make whatever changes have to be made. Adam Fuller, okay, got it. If you want to give him a pass this year, cool. So next year, I need to see drastic improvement on the defense. If we're going to say this year is a pass for Adam Fuller, next year, it's got to be, am I saying dominant? I don't know about that, but they can't look like they've looked this year defensively. or Adam Fuller's got to go. There has to be something. Something has to give in order for Norvell to keep his job. He's got to understand where his weaknesses are, replace those weaknesses, and turn those weaknesses into strengths. Memphis was able to put up a great season with a bunch of 2 stars, but they're also playing a bunch of 2 and 3 stars as well. I agree, but Memphis is playing SMU and they're playing Tulane and those type of schools. I hope so, but we'll see. High floor, low ceiling guy. Griffith's out there, instantly visible, physically outmatched, and he outplaying. Some of the guys FSU got on defense has played football their whole life, and this year they play like every game is their first. That's my thing when people say it's the players. It's like not even majority of these kids have been playing football their whole life. They've been tackling their whole life. They've been lining up in 3-point stand their whole life. At what point are we going to be like, yo, are they being coached the right way? That's funny. So, I don't want to come on here. I really didn't even want to come on here and really talk about the defense, but unfortunately, that's kind of where the program is right now. I tried to be as positive as possible. There's just really not a lot to be positive about. But hopefully, this game coming Saturday gives us a reason to be optimistic about what's going forward. Daniel says Fuller has too many square pegs for his round holes. J-Wop, Woodbay, etc. So my thing with that, Daniel, is if J-Rob doesn't fit what you want to do, why are you using him in that manner? Because you're right. They're using J-Rob in this hybrid role where they're standing him up on the edge. But everybody in America salivates when they see Janarius Robinson dropping back in coverage. Everybody knows he doesn't belong there. Everybody knows he has no reason being back in zone coverage. So why continue to do it? Again, we can blame the players and say J-Rob ain't good. But when he's being used like that, and everybody knows he shouldn't be being used like that, why are you doing it? That's the stuff that I can't. Now you're bringing it at me, right? That's the stuff I go. It's Fuller, because I get it. You want to do one thing, and you don't have the player, that specific player or players to do that one thing. But Gaynor can. Like, we know Gaynor can play that role because he's played it before. We know he can put a more athletic guy in that position to do that. Maybe you drop Leonard Warner is terrible in playing in space. We all can see it. Hell, maybe you throw Leonard Warner on the edge and let him run the passer. Like, do certain things, make different changes. You can't just keep dropping Janarius Robinson back in coverage and all of a sudden he's just gonna be good. All of a sudden he's just gonna be able to cover the zone, run sideline to sideline or whatever. Pass breakups, intercept balls. Like, come on. You got to start using guys to their strengths. Obviously, that's not J-Rob's strength, so why do we keep doing it? Obviously, I think like a Woodbay. I think he probably is more effective closer to the line of scrimmage. So get him out of that safety role. Put him in that role that Gaynor is playing. Drop Gaynor down the level to that defensive end position. Have your safeties be Ronaldo Green and Travis J. Like, it's not that hard. I'm not saying I got all the answers. What I'm saying could absolutely be a disaster and not work, but damn it, at least try it. Because at this point, what do you have to lose by not trying it? Because the defense can't look any worse than it has looked. So at least try it. J-Rob out in the middle of the D-line. J-Rob out in the middle of the lead line. You could try pushing him inside. You definitely could try pushing Janarius Robinson inside. And that's what I'm saying. You can try a lot of different things, but again, if we can say it and people can say, well, why don't they try this? And people tell me, oh, they should try that. And then if everybody can say it, why isn't he doing it? Granted, I'll give him some credit against Notre Dame. People have been calling for a man-to-man defense, and they did that against Notre Dame. The problem wasn't in the secondary where we have been giving up yards. The problem now was on the ground where we got gashed. So gotta stop. I just want to see guys used in the proper space. Guys using the proper space, or now if I can watch a game and go, well, okay, at least they tried Gainer right here, and while Gainer didn't set the run or set the edge on the run plays very well. Damn it! Every time they tried to pass the ball, Gainer was putting pressure on the quarterback. I can live with that, right? I can live with that. That's going to come back to coaching too. So now, as a defensive coordinator, it's going to be your job to diagnose. Okay, on this pass play, what we think is going to be a pass play. Let's put Gainer out there rushing the passer on this run play. We'll switch personnel up. Like, that's also a defensive coordinator's job, to diagnose what they're seeing in real time and make proper adjustments real time. But that doesn't even happen on Saturdays. Is anybody seeing that type of stuff happen on Saturdays? They barely even substitute from what I see on Saturdays. They keep the same guys out there getting burnt constantly. So, again, I'm not trying to be negative towards Fuller. I'm just telling you what I see. Put him in the rotation other than putting Marv on an offensive tackle. Put Marv at the end. Yeah, I talked about that, Todd. Michigan's name has emerged for Jennings. Yep, they're going after him, which sucks. Why these kids want to go all the way up to Michigan? Like, Michigan has done anything more than Florida State has done to even be considered. I don't get that. But, shout out to Brennan Jennings. He's going to do what he needs to do his best for him. I don't know what Michigan is offering that's more than Florida State is offering. They can't beat Ohio State. They can't make the playoffs either. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh has been about as overrated as the coaches there have been out there. So, is he better than Norvell? Maybe. I would say Jim Harbaugh has a better resume than Mike Norvell, obviously, but he's about as overrated. But hit the like button, folks. We just talking football talk today. What we potentially may see going forward. Hoping what we're going to see out of this North Carolina game. I'm excited for the game. I'm always excited. Even though, even if I'm like, damn it, we're about to get whooped. Like, when we play Clemson in 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to be excited for that game. Even though I know that game's going to be 50 to whatever. I'm going to be excited to watch it. So I'm excited. I'm always excited. I'm going to be excited to watch this game come Saturday. And I do think we got a legit shot in this game. So I'm trying to be as positive as everybody wants me to be in the comments. I will continue to work on my positivity. Believe me, I don't like coming on here talking about how bad this team is. I wish I could come out here and talk about how FSU is undefeated and we're landing 5. Like, I want to be out here being happy. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. If Jennings' top 3 is Michigan, Notre Dame, and FSU, he's chasing the brand, strengthen the brand. Right. If your top 3, I agree. If your top 3 is Michigan and Notre Dame, and you're going to keep us in your top 3, assuming like that's the case, those other 2 programs, like, okay, they're cool up north programs, but what are they offering you that Notre Dame isn't? That Florida State can't offer you. No matter what school you go to out of those 3, or any school for that matter, if you're the guy, you're going to go to the NFL. You say you like the coaching. Maybe it's secretly he doesn't have faith in Coach Marv. Maybe he doesn't have faith in Adam Fuller. Then I could understand it. Yeah, that's the thing, right? We don't know what those guys have had a conversation with behind the scenes. I would assume Norvell has went to Fuller and be like, yo, what's the deal? Like, is it a personnel problem? What's the deal? I'm sure they've had conversations. They've had to have some type of conversations. So I'm gonna continue to work on my positivity, folks. I promise. I'm gonna continue to work on it. I will be positive going forward, guys, because that's what everybody's been getting on me. Usually, I got a lot of, you know, I've learned a lot doing this YouTube thing. Like, you're gonna get people who genuinely follow you and like you for whatever it is your takes, or maybe they just like your personality or whatever. Then you have people that I have people that are subscribed to me, and they only interact with me to debate me, which is fine. That's one of the things I like about this. It's, come to football, we can debate football all day. I'm not perfect. My takes aren't perfect. I see the game one way, and you might see the game a different way. It doesn't mean we're wrong. We just see the game differently. And as long as you know what you're talking about, I can listen to you and I can debate that and whatever. I got people who just come on here that just want to counter everything I say. People will listen to me for 2 hours and they'll pass over every correct thing I said. And they will I might say one bad thing, like earlier, right? I said that Jordan Travis didn't practice today because I could have sworn I heard Norvell said that, but everybody corrected me and was like, no, he did practice today. And I'll have one person come in and that's the only thing they'll take out of this 2 hour or hour and however long live stream is you said this and you're wrong. And it's like, well, damn. Am I wrong about anything else? Nope, just that. And I want to debate you and tell you how wrong you are about this. So it's funny, but I really do enjoy doing this. And that's what people like to talk about. People like to talk about everything you're wrong about. Nobody likes to, So I got people that genuinely like you. They've got people that just want to debate you. Then of course you got your trolls. Then of course you got your trolls. But I think that's been a solid show today. Not really much more to go over. North Carolina, FSU. My score prediction. I'm gonna give a score prediction. So again, I think we're talking shootout here. I gotta go. If we're gonna talk shootout, I want to be realistic. I'm gonna go 45 to 40, Florida State. I'm going 45 to 40, Florida State. I think even that makes me like, do I really think FSU is going to put up 40 points? Right? But yeah, I'm going to stick with that. I'll stick with my heart, 45 to 40. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. Defensively, I think we're all going to be sick. Offensively, we're all going to be like, hell yeah, Jordan Travis got it. Or, Tamarion Terry. Offensively, we're going to have fun. We're going to be drinking heavily when the defense is on the field. That's my prediction for this weekend. Yes, sir, Daniel. Always. Just good conversation. That's what it's all about. Thanks for the show, no doubt. FSU player, I bet some of y'all here just wear jerseys. Okay, well, what's up, man? How you doing? See, that's what I'm talking about. You get, shout out to Aiden Christopher. Good to see you here. I don't know why they come in with the negative shit, like FSU player, which is dope, But I guess people don't like to hear criticisms, but we all love Florida State here, at least most of us do. So shout out to Aiden Christopher. Samuel, he's got 42 to 31. Samuel, honestly, that's probably a better prediction than what I predict. Because scoring 45 might be tough. But again, I think it's just going to be a shootout to the end. And is the next game a must win for the Noles? At this point, I don't know if it's a must win. It'll help. It'll go a long way to help. It'll show that we can actually compete with a team. You feel me? Must win. Must win is like saying if you don't lose this game, your season's over. The season's kind of already in a bad spot anyway. So I don't know if it's a must win. It's definitely going to help make you beat you running the ball with the boat race. But I love my known. Make them beat you running the ball. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If they got to beat us running the ball, it's gonna be tough. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out for the FSU player who showed up, who I've never heard of, but I'll look him up for sure. And as always, man, it's your boy POLK, and you tuned in to 863 Seminole TV. And I want you guys to remember, stay classy, Seminoles. I will see you again on Friday. T2Y on the show Friday. We'll be reviewing the upcoming games for the weekend like we always do. And stay classy, Seminoles. And like always, we are out here. You guys have a good night.